Welcome to In and Out of Character. This is a podcast about role-playing. Just a conversation between two players about their characters and about the way that they feel about role-playing. That's all there is. Some caution is advised, as some of these topics may not be suitable for everybody. Good morning, everybody. Really quick, before we get into the episode, I just wanted to let you know that if you would like to, you can join my Discord. And in my Discord, I talk to other role players all the time about what have you. And this is also a good way to get onto the podcast if you would like to. So please feel free to join me and come have a discussion with me. With that said, I also want to let you know that I am still in the middle of the woods, so I'm still using my hotspot. Luckily, I was able to get around a lot of the static and robot voicing this time. So thank you guys very much for listening, and I apologize for it. But it's great to have a conversation with you guys anyways. Thank you. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty dang good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. This is the first time you and I have spoken, even though I've known you for, I think, about 2 months now?
Yeah, I think a little bit over a month.
A little bit.
It seems like a lot has happened though.
It does, doesn't it? God, let's see. When I first met you, we were doing off-meta nonsense. And this was back before Callie became Sacred Band and all this other nonsense. And between then and now, she's gone up in rank like 3 times. It does feel like a lot has happened.
Right. Busy gal. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, I just haven't ever like gotten this deep into roleplay before. So it's just has been a lot. A whole lot.
I bet. Actually, so if you want to, go ahead and just if you're okay with just jumping into it, go ahead and just introduce
Sure.
yourself.
Well, my name's Matt. I go by Brother Webb on
Mm-hmm.
the internets, and I just love playing video games and music, and that's pretty much my whole vibe.
Yeah, yeah. You've let us listen to a few of your songs before. You are a fantastic musician.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I have been trying to kind of put myself out there a little bit more recently.
I can tell you that like when you first uploaded a video to Karen's, or you were telling us that you were going to do it and you were going to live stream it, and unfortunately, a lot of us weren't able to listen in. So you left us a little video. It sounded fantastic. I actually liked a couple of your songs, so I could put them into one of my playlists.
Oh, it's an honor. That
Mm.
makes me super happy.
Well, it's so difficult to kind of get your I don't know if I could ever be a musician because I am a people person, but sometimes performing in front of people, oh, it's a nightmare.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I played bass in a couple of bands, and there's nothing quite like getting on stage to force you to come face to face with your own stage fright. Just kind of
Hmm.
power through it.
Do you have
I've been.
Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. I was gonna say I've been playing for a long time now, so um, it just brings me a lot of joy, and I don't know why I just kind of keep it to myself. So I really appreciate the positivity and the empowerment that you and the people of the Divine Conclave have showed me.
Aw. Well, I mean, it's great to hear you perform. It really is. Have you had any problems like role playing in the conclave? Because since we're talking about like performing in front of other people, I was just wondering, like, does that kind of carry over to role playing, Brother Webb?
Yes,
It does.
absolutely.
Oh man.
And you can feel free to call me Webb or Matt or whatever. Or Brother Webb, that's cool too. But yeah,
How
no,
about
absolutely. Absolutely. There's for me, role playing can be a really personal experience. and I
Mhm.
haven't, as I said, I haven't really gotten very deep into it before.
Yeah, so why
Uh,
like, you've told me about this before, like, you told me that something happened way back when, and I'm not gonna bring that up, but,
yeah, well, I
why,
mean, it's
like
okay.
I don't
I
wanna go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no, that's sweet of you to be considerate, but I mean, I got started the first time I really role played was back in like the year 2000. I was about 10 years old, and I
Mhm,
was kind of just digging around on America Online, and I found the random chat rooms, and people were
mhm,
going ASL left and right, and there's just this absolute flurry of activity, and of course it was just really just unfettered internet. And my guardians, they didn't really understand that the internet was a completely crazy place, so I sort of had free reign just to roam the net, and I ended up making some friends in chat rooms, and I made other friends that were children, kind of like me, preteens or whatever, and um they introduced me to role playing and just kind of writing out actions. And it started off, innocent and simple enough, and then as I continued to just interact with some of these people and stay in touch over the years, even though they were pretty much strangers, and it just, it wasn't like we didn't hang out in too many chat rooms. I wasn't really too keen on typing up a bunch of stuff amongst dozens of people, but I did find it really um, comfortable and freeing to just just role play with a friend or two and just write whatever, Want to relax
mhm.
by a stream? Boom, there's a stream. What would be nice? Going for a little going for a little flight, Let's grow some wings real quick, why not? It was just um really just a liberating time that it was really good for me at that time in my life to be feeding my imagination in such a way.
Mhm,
And
and I
even though I didn't really remain friends with these people, uh, through life, I still, cherish the memories that we made, and just and it's so much fun to just write a story with someone,
oh,
just see how
absolutely.
it goes and just go with the flow, and
Mhm,
try to act out, what your character would do. But at the
mhm.
time, I didn't really understand necessarily that it can be so important to keep separate yourself from your character.
Yeah, the in
Um,
character and out of character line, there's a limit there, and I think a lot of role
right, and
players
I completely neglected it. There was no book on this for me to study.
Mhm,
We're just kind of kicking the can with some friends, and I had never really played Dungeons and Dragons, even though I never even really heard about it at that time. So this was really just kind of opened up my mind to uh to creative writing, and also just emotionally compelling stories, just becoming emotionally vulnerable with someone who you may not even really know, and just developing a story together.
mhm. No, I get
So,
that.
well, I think I started my video game role playing with RuneScape, and someone just decided to lend me a hand and explain how to smelt and just kind of walked me through it, and I just thought that was so cool. It just some random stranger was just willing to help me out with this game, make things easier for me. And from then forward, I just kind of would casually role play with all bunch of different people as I traveled through these games. RuneScape was pretty straightforward and simple. Once World of Warcraft came around, I really, really jumped into that and loved it. It was like two completely different worlds. I was so in love with World of Warcraft. I started as a couple. I tried a few different characters as different races, but then I ended up creating a Tauren character, and I
Mm,
just felt right at home in those planes amongst my beastly counterparts or whatever, and it
mhm.
was just such a glorious thing. and but it was always just kind of me and maybe a few other people. And I guess for a while I kind of stopped role playing for maybe 5 years or so, playing games and all that. I was doing some other things, graduating from school and pursuing careers and all that stuff, relationships, etc.
Mhm.
But I ended up getting back into World of Warcraft. I was living with some musician friends, and as soon as we got internet in the household, they got World of Warcraft and started playing on a free server. I was like, oh, if y'all are getting down on it, I'll do the same thing. So we just started up and got back into it. And well, I mean, our house kind of revolved around World of Warcraft for a little bit,
Mhm.
and that was a good time. Kind of helped me get back into role playing with actual friends, and it was probably the first time that I had role played with people kind of in person. Like, yeah, we were in our own rooms, but we shared the same space, and that was provide sort of a different dynamic that I wasn't used to. Oh, you're good. I should mention I have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. I'm sure you know lots of people with it, so my train of thought can run without tracks.
No, no, it's cool. My friend Jack, he was actually on the last episode. He is just recently
Yeah,
been diagnosed with ADHD, and he's learning how to handle that with in his day to day lives. And now that he understands what he has, he's been able to progress. I'm not going to say a little bit better, but he's been able to navigate life through different means that makes a
right.
lot more sense to him. But no, I completely understand. I also
Yeah, that
have
was
ADHD.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, like birds of a feather. I listened to that episode. I finished it this morning,
Oh,
and I really like that guy. I don't know him, but
oh, he's a
he seemed like he grand.
really wonderful guy. Jack, one of my best friends in the world. But anyways, one of the biggest things I've been wanting to ask you is like, have you ever tried to incorporate your love of music into role playing? Because like if I don't know about if I had a musical talent, which I can play the harmonica and that's all I can play. Um, if I could play like a guitar or something like that, like you can do, and even sing, which I cannot sing, by the way. I this is my voice;
Oh,
it doesn't get any better.
well, it
I
still
would
sounds
be.
beautiful.
Oh, thanks. I would try to. I would try really hard to incorporate that into my role playing. Have you ever like considered that?
Well, sort of. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've played a bunch of random MMOs throughout the years, aside from World of Warcraft, like Ragnarok, and I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
they had some uh bardish aspects. Um,
Hmm.
but not necessarily. But however, when you know, last about a month ago, a little over a month ago, I got Elder Scrolls. I think it was maybe the first, and then I started just to I made a Khajiit character, and because I wanted to see elsewhere finally,
Hmm.
and after a while, I was like, well, now I want to make an Argonian character, and just have him hang around, down in the marshlands or whatever. And so that my Argonian, who I just named Brother Webb straight up,
Hmm.
um, I ended up spending a lot of time in Leowin, and it was the first time in a long time that I had been in an MMO in a highly populated area, and I just started to really feel at home in Leowin. And I played, Oblivion and Skyrim and Morrowind, and so there's a special place in my heart that's very personal because those are all single player games.
Hmm.
So suddenly sharing this space with other people
Right?
was really pretty moving. And when I realized that there were so many emotes and that I could literally just like start playing the flute, that's what I did. Like I started playing all the instruments. I just stand there and just whatever corner, or even like there's that little archway that's like a kind of by the entryway to the, what do you call it, the marketplace of Leywin, and I just like hop up there and uh
Hmm.
just like look around it and just play some stuff. And yeah, just I don't know, just wouldn't really do much. Other role playing that I would do as this Argonian especially was just swimming around in pretty much everywhere, just absolutely loving the water and traveling via rivers.
hmm So, quick question: do you say you do a lot more solo role playing as opposed to, or I should say, have you done a lot more solo role
Mm,
playing as opposed to like group role playing?
yes, at this point, absolutely. Playing all those single player Elder Scrolls games.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved creating characters and exploring different aspects of character development and also different aspects of the game that I just couldn't bring myself to just go and see just because I could. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
no, this character would not do that.
It was actually Oblivion. Run with Calipers name is actually a joke from Oblivion because you remember
Right.
picking up all those calipers and just holding a
Oh
ton of
yeah.
them. Oh god, I used to have so many, and I remember one day, my friend was watching me play the game, and I opened up my inventory, and they're like, "Why the fuck do you have so many calipers in your pockets?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just do." And then they were the they were the one who actually named who coined the name Run with Calipers. So when I joined them when Elder Scrolls Online first came out way back when, I they were like, we need to make characters and play together. That's where I chose the name Run with Calipers as a joke. And they laughed about it. They don't play anymore because they're a parent and a business owner and no time for video games anymore in their life. But
Mm.
um, I still think fondly of the name. But
It's
actually,
a great name. I'm pretty sure that, in the first couple of weeks I was playing ESO before I joined the Divine Conclave. I'm pretty sure I might have seen you recruiting somewhere at some point. I don't know, but I do
uh,
remember
mhm.
seeing that your screen name and
Oh.
being like, "Ha, I like that."
Thanks. I get a few people who whisper me about it because they understand the reference. Actually, some and then there are people who don't understand the reference, but who are still role players. Like I had one person whisper me and be like, "Why are you naming your character after a part in a vehicle?" And I was like, "What?" I have no idea how to explain this to you. Um. But uh. I remember back during Oblivion, that was like one of the first times where I really started to actually role play solo myself. Um by like making a character and being like, okay, I want this character to be a good person because I remember doing one of the Dark Brotherhood quests, and of course, you know, when you're a member of the Dark Brotherhood, you murder. You go around murdering people. That's what you
Right.
do. You're supposed to go do the thing. Anyways, I
It's in
felt
the
so
fine
bad.
print.
Yeah, do you remember that one quest where you drop the moose head on the dude?
Oh yeah,
Oh
that was
god.
brutal.
So I remember doing that quest and then like killing the guy, and then like I popped out of the closet and I was like, "Oh, I feel terrible about this. I feel absolutely horrible about this. I want to go play I want to go play a good character."
Oh yeah, I had experience like that when I was playing Skyrim.
Mhm.
I decided to make a Khajiit character who's
Mhm.
just a really big, strong, beefy asshole who just can't stand dogs. That one fact alone was something I just like really had a hard time role playing.
Mhm. Cuz you like
But
dogs.
I freaking love dogs, all animals. But this
Mhm.
guy, no, Ratash was only interested in himself. And yet, like, I could not resist trying to like direct him towards the light. Sure he was gonna be exploring the Thieves Guild and uh, the Dark Brotherhood, but I
Mhm.
just want he wanted to believe that he was destined for something better, something more. He probably didn't. He was terrible, but that's probably one of the only darker characters that I've even role played as. I'm just too much of a softie.
No, I get it, man. I get it so much. Like in Mass Effect, when you're playing as Commander Shepard, I don't know if you ever played the Mass Effect series, But
just
I've
started.
oh gosh, that is I've been playing it since the first game came out on the Xbox 360. It was the only game I've ever bought like 3 times in a row because because one time I bumped my Xbox and it scratched the disc. The second time because I
Dang.
accidentally snapped my disc, and the third time I just really wanted to play the game again. So that was the only game that I bought over and over again just because I kept breaking the disc by
Hmm.
accident.
I'm gonna have
Um,
to get back at it.
oh, I love that game. I absolutely love Mass Effect. I'm a huge nerd for sci-fi role playing. Anyways, you might be wondering why I haven't joined Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic yet, or SWTOR or
I haven't
whatever it's called.
either, surprisingly, as much as I
Ah,
love a good sci-fi adventure too.
yeah, actually made by the same people, but the not Bethesda. It was made by not Bethesda. Was it made by Bethesda? Who was it made by? Who was that game? Hold on. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I have to answer this question. I feel ashamed. Hold on.
You
Mass
must know.
Effect.
I will learn something today.
I, I have to. It was made by Electronic Arts, EA, and
Oh,
BioWare. I'm sorry, EA is the publisher.
okay.
BioWare is the developer. BioWare also did the work for Star Wars. I'm just gonna say Star Wars Online because I can't remember what it's actually called. Uh, Star Wars: The Old Republic. I keep calling it Knights of the Old Republic, and people are gonna yell at me for that. Anyways, so when
Sounds like
playing
a lot of
through
fun.
it's a lot of fun. I love it because you actually have like a storyline sort of like Mass Effect. You can actually romance the characters in there. I am a huge nerd for romance and role playing. I don't know why. I just am.
Hmm.
But through Mass
Personally,
Effect, uh-huh.
oh, just I was gonna say personally, like with the way I am, I'm still kind of even with my slightly shattered soul and still healing heart, like I'm always gonna be a hopeless romantic.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you. And I do gotta say that role playing is a good place to sort of heal. Jack and I were sort of touching upon this in the last episode, where we talk about role playing can be a way of therapy and how it can help you get past a lot of your trauma. I know that there's an in and out of character line that you're not supposed to be crossing, but I do see a lot of myself in my characters, and I don't mean to put
Same.
myself into my characters, but the characters do come from ourselves, so we learn to kind of get past our I don't want to call them issues because they're not issues, but they are things that happen to us, and we can use role playing as a means of well, if this is what my character is doing, maybe it won't be so bad for me.
Yeah, it can really be a means of helping you work through life's challenges,
Mm-hmm.
and part of why I got ESO in the first place was because I was, pretty profoundly alone. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm starting to feel like a functioning human again. And I have no reason to, um, what's the word? Deprive myself of something that I know I would really love. So I got ESO and I started playing with people online again in this fantasy realm that I had come to adore. And after a while, I really was, trying to make like some friends in the game and was role playing just occasionally and casually with different people. And like at one point, I was in Leowin, just playing on some instrument, just kind of staring out at all the peoples. And someone asked, like, "Hey, does anyone know the way to?" Oh, I don't even remember where they needed to go, but I literally walked there that same day. I was like, "Oh, where you at?" It's like, "Oh, I'm at the marketplace." I was like, "Well, let's go. I know the way." And so we just like took this little trip across northern elsewhere and just kicked the can a little bit and just shot the shit and
Mm-hmm.
appreciated the beauty of the landscapes. And they went on their way. We kept in touch, and I was just like, "Well, that was fun. I want to do stuff like that more often."
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started looking on the Guild Finder, and I had seen ads for different guilds here and there, but the Divine Conclave just really kind of spoke to me. Just the fact that it was 18 and up for one. It's like, oh, sweet fellow adults.
Mhm.
Um, and I just didn't know what I was getting myself into. I thought to myself, well, this sounds cool. I bet these
Mhm.
people are fun. And so, like, I joined up, and then I realized, like, oh, okay, I got to put it like an application, and oh, I got to put my like character name and like a little bit of like how I got here and stuff. And at first, it was a little bit daunting, and
Mhm.
I started thinking way more deeply about the lore and the mindset and the history behind this avatar that I was playing as. And y- y- as far as the being in and out of character and the line between, for me, I'm too empathetic to really pay it very much mind. And I'm
Mhm.
not sure if that's like unsafe or unorthodox or something, but I
No,
just
no.
can't detach myself um, from my character like that.
Mhm.
I can
Mhm.
I can barely detach myself from other people's characters.
I get that. Well, no, see,
And
character detachment is actually something that does happen. Like, I know how Callie is supposed to act. Callie is supposed to be very rambunctious and honest and straightforward and to the point. Um, that's just who she is as a character. But there are some days where I get online and I'm like, I'm a single dad. I'm taking care of my son. My son is wearing me out. I have a million things to do. I'm trying to help my own father and all this other stuff, and like it wears on you personally. And then when you finally get online and you're supposed to get into this character and you're supposed to be this person, you don't feel it. And there are several times um where you're acting it out, but you yourself out of character are feeling down, are sad, are pressured even, and it just you just don't feel it that day. So
yeah, and other
character.
days there's the other side of that coin where your
Hmm.
character could be experiencing an absolute breakdown, and
Hmm.
yet out of character you're just having the time of your life.
Oh, absolutely. Happens all yes, happens all the times. Yesterday I unfortunately I got so busy with God, what did I get busy with? I was Oh, I was in during Paths yesterday. I was Paths for everybody listening is a PvP role playing event for our guild. Uh just so everybody knows what we're talking about. But I was talking online with Walla and Grievous and Rosetta. Oh well, she's not Rosetta anymore. She's Kilsani now, I believe. The new Ardent for the Sacred Band, and somebody else. Who am I forgetting? Walla, Grievous, myself, Jasani. I think actually that was all of them. But I was supposed to be learning how to help run the pass thing. So, people were role playing with me, and I felt so bad because I was trying to talk with them, but also role play at the same time, and I was just like, "Oh God, I'm not giving these people any of the any of the attention that they deserve." And so
Oh man.
Calipers was just, like I was all in it. I love the role play and I love talking with them. But Callie was just sitting there like I think I'm having an out of body experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty much my answer to everything. Was I'm here but I'm not here, do you know?
Mm.
But
Brother
you
Webb
were
has experiences like that too.
Mhm.
The more I thought about my character, the more I started to realize like I owe it to him to to broaden his backstory.
Mhm.
And so I really started thinking a lot about where he was from and why he behaves the way he does. Because I knew that, even in this game, like I wanted to kind of just cut loose and just make friends and have fun.
Mhm.
But it's, uh, when you develop trust issues, you can't just like play as a character who just is that open to the world.
Mhm.
So I've so I spent a pretty good amount of time considering what his deal is, so to speak. But I've yet to really write it out. I wrote a bunch and then realized like, wow, that's a lot. I'm gonna have to cut this down to size for posting, and even then, um, it just I don't know. Maybe it's the ADD kicking in,
No,
ADHD.
it's okay. Do you mind if I ask you a personal question?
That you can ask me anything that you want. Okay.
All right, I appreciate that. So,
Sure.
have you yourself um I don't want to use the word, I don't want to use the phrase gotten better, but you talk about having a lot of performance issues and talking about having like dealt with some trust issues. Do you feel like that's been I don't want to say resolved because these aren't things that gets resolved. These are issues that are constantly worked on. But has role playing as Brother Webb has it helped you at all?
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Emphatically. Yes. It's been a genuine blessing.
That's
Um.
good because
Yeah.
I know you were talking about earlier how joining up with the Divine Conclave, how and it's really not just the Divine Conclave. Any large role playing group like this is going to have like sort of a daunting experience at first. I was completely thrown out the window when I first joined in with the Conclave. I had no idea what was going on. Like I believe like a fortress exploded. There was a ceremony and I didn't know what I was doing. Then we went to orders and then I had to take the calling or the pilgrim's call, and then I had to go meet the mentors, and then literally right after I became a pilgrim, uh, I had to go join. I went to the ceremony and picked out my mentor, who was Corbin. And
Cool.
shout out to Corbin. He was a really good mentor. Um, uh, and bless him because there was a lot of things I just didn't understand when I joined. Um, and after that, we immediately went to Orders, which is our role playing event, Sunday night, and we attacked a fortress, and then that fortress got blown up. And at the end of the day, I was just like, "What happened? Why are all these people using all these different numbers? What's going on? Where are you guys rolling?
Right.
What do I
How are
do?"
you doing this?
Yeah, precisely. So when you said earlier, like how this can be a daunting experience, I completely understand, and that's like the only big fear that I have about um, a large role playing guild is that there's a lot to do that is sort of streamlined by that point, and for newer players coming in, it's just a lot to handle.
It really is. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I had only been playing the game for a couple of weeks
Mm-hmm.
when I got into the Divine Conclave, and then my focus just completely skewed away from like the stories and everything, and went directly to DC. It's
Mm-hmm.
been exhilarating and just exciting in ways that I didn't really expect. I didn't know that there was quite so much, but this community is just so much goddamn fun,
Oh, I
and
know it. I know it. I feel the
good
same.
peoples, and joining the Discord channel as well has been helpful. It's been nice having a place to just chat about whatever the fuck and nerd out with peoples. And I
Mm-hmm.
think I think that's also helped a little bit to relax enough to where I can kind of open up and behave in a way that befits the character,
Mm-hmm.
as well as me.
I got you. Well, it's a good thing that role playing web has helped you out because sometimes I feel like I feel the same way. Where, like I said earlier, Callie is supposed to be the straightforward, rambunctious. Let's go. Let's like here is the mission. Let's not be stupid about it, but let's go get it done. And I feel like uh, it's sort of like a weird like rub off. Like she comes from me, but from her, I remind myself I need to stop moping. Like I get it, things are tough. Nobody should have to raise a child alone, and nobody should have to deal with this sort of stuff. But you know what? Let's just go get it done. And after it's done, I won't have to worry about it. And I can focus on
Right.
raising. Yeah. So I can understand where
Yeah,
you're coming from.
and that's something I had kind of learned in life, which is that like when there's an event that like I want to go to, but there's another part of me that's like, nah, you could just kind of chill and do your own thing and not have to deal with like other people. And then I tell myself like, look, we've been through this before. You should just go. You know you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have fun and you'll
Mm-hmm.
enjoy yourself. And after it's over and you're alone again, you'll be glad that you went.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of been the vibe I've tried to keep as I've attended these different events. Pretty much all of them I've been kind of postponing going to. But the more
Mm-hmm.
often I even just saw y'all's screen names in guild chat, um, the more I started to kind of realize like how the guild operates and like when the active times are and um,
Mm-hmm.
how active the events can be. And it was just yeah, it was super overwhelming. Sometimes it still is.
Oh, you know.
But that's
It. Mm-hmm.
I still just I love it. It's makes me feel alive
That's good. I'm
and
glad too
feeds my
because
imagination.
that's another thing. I love just putting it what's in my head out there, but it's so much easier to do it when I have a focus, and that focus is normally the other players. It's so much
Right.
easier to be able to role play with other people. I like
Certainly.
I like solo roleplay, but most of the time I prefer it with groups. I prefer MMO role playing over that of like tabletop role playing, just because it's something I can do pretty much all the time, and I don't have to wait until we all have the right schedules in order to get on and get to the events
Right.
and chat with people and hang out with people, and I don't know, maybe embarrass what's how do I say her name? You know her, Varian?
Moraine?
Varain? Is it Varain?
Moraine?
Is it
Kabuki.
Varain? I keep
Yeah,
calling
I
her.
believe
I keep
so.
calling her Vara.
That works. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's
I've seen them
always
refer to themselves that way.
yeah. So it's always really fun to get on and just see how the other characters and their players interact. This is something that has definitely changed since like the time I first started role playing to now. When I first started role playing, it was very I don't want to say taboo, but it was very ill advised to have an out of character connection with other players.
Really? Was
It
that
like
just
it's
kind of a general vibe and
it
just
was
in
yeah.
on the game?
Like it was just like I mean, of course you could like talk to them and be their friends, but it was like, people weren't really I don't want to say intimate, but at the same time, like that's the word. It's like people weren't willing to really get to know each other. They were just like in it for role playing and their characters. But as we've advanced, not socially,
Emotion
but uh,
Emotional intimacy takes courage.
oh, it does. It absolutely does. And I'm so glad that people are starting to see more of it, or at least I'm starting to see more of it.
And
Um,
I don't blame people who, don't can't or maybe just don't want that element of socializing in their
mhm.
life. Like I've played a bunch of shows in my life and I've gone out and, made friends and with the help of my siblings. They've taught me how easy it is to make friends, but I can totally understand and relate to people who may not necessarily just have the mental capacity to operate freely of their own agency in a comfortably.
Oh
I
no, I
find
totally understand. Hmm.
for me, it's been definitely been helpful to have that element outside of character.
Right.
Uh,
It's been a blessing for me as well because like as much as I love living through Caliper's eyes, or I suppose living is it vicariously? Yeah, vicariously through this character, I have made so many friends. I mean, hell, you and I are getting to chat all the time, and I get to hear you sing, and again, you sing so wonderful. And I would have never and
Ew.
I would have never um when I first started role playing, expected that out of anybody, and between then and now, it's just you start seeing so much more. Thanks to the help of like Discord and stuff like that, you get so much more out of a community now, and I think that's
Yeah,
actually been very good for the role play community.
absolutely. Discord has been a boon for many communities. I really love it. I'm not a huge fan of social media, but Discord has a special place in my heart. They're
Absolutely.
doing things right.
There was something
I,
else I was going to ask you, but I completely forgot about it.
well, last night was hella fun.
Oh,
Um,
at the
but my noobishness was totally showing again. But yeah, the event where there was like a ball going on that the Divine Conclave lances and members of our sister guilds who are,
hmm
not, I can't really call them evil, but they're more negatively aligned.
hmm
And there was just like we got there and there were just so many people inside this place, and I was just kind of blown away. I was like, this is like a legit social event. Like
I
if
know.
that's how the Divine Conclave had been, like I probably wouldn't have lasted. I've been like, oh man, I need some air.
No, I get it.
But
No one. Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
no, you're fine. Kind of just wandered around and looked about and tried to find kind of a place in the corner to kind of keep my back to the wall, sort of, and
hmm
serve, maybe bump elbows with a couple of people, and which is exactly my vibe in real life too. Like I just kind of, I'm more of an observer, so to speak, but I
hmm
interacted with a couple of people, and it's supposed to be like a formal event, and I haven't really been playing the game like whatsoever for the past few weeks. Like over the last month, it's been like purely role play, and
uh,
well, I've been
I
loving it
feel
though.
it.
I'm not complaining, but it's kind of embarrassing when you've got like literally two things to wear and no masks. Like you're supposed to be wearing a mask to this masquerade, and so I'm standing there with like I think I even still had like my helmet hidden, so my head was just like totally exposed. But I got those headphones on there. It's like, how am I supposed to wear anything on that mug?
Oh my goodness.
And
Yeah, I
how would
understand.
anything fit?
Yeah, I will I'll be happy to like tweet out a picture of my character's head. Like everybody keeps asking me how does calipers get her feathers in her helmets or her hoods and stuff like that. And it's a lot of suspension of belief for a moment because her feathers are freaking huge. You've seen them. Um, but
They're
two things.
gorgeous.
Oh, I love them. I ever since I've had them, I was like when I first saw them, when I first witnessed them, I was like, I don't like them. I don't like these feathers. They're too out there. They just don't look good to me. And then
Quite
I
extravagant.
yeah, very extravagant. And then I got to I this is back when I was oh god, this was so many years ago. This is back when I was like sort of reinventing the character. I got that skin, the one that's like it's like an extra layer of scales that looks all feathery. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen her
Oh,
scales.
I have, and they flow like water. It's amazing.
I love them. So once I got that, and then I was like, wait a second, I put the feathers on them, and then I was like, no, this is perfect for the type of character that's supposed to be who like out there, who is supposed to be outgoing, and while she is a little awkward, she's still like, I want to go meet people and be with people. But I have to do it in my own way. And so for her to have this big old feather headdress all the time. I love it. But
Yeah, it's
at the
perfect.
yeah, and you were saying something else about role playing with our sister guild. I have been wanting to role play with them so much. However, we can't actually in character do that because I'm pretty sure we'll get our characters will get executed.
Right, right. Scary. So
I
yeah,
know.
I was like at the bar, just kind of like looking around, and I talked to like one person, and I was pretty awkward about it, and it's funny because I don't want to be a socially awkward person, but when I'm role playing as Weaves Webbing as he's actually named,
Mhm.
I intentionally will like go out of my way to make things more awkward because he's canonically he has spent a lot of time alone and and so he's just like isn't really sure how to interact with people. And
Oh.
there, like, he tried interacting with this one guy. He was like, "Oh, Full House, huh?" And this dude was beefy, and he must have been part of one of the quote unquote bad guilds, because
Mhm.
he got sassy with me about just making unnecessary observations and stuff. So I was just like, I was just giving him side eye and sipping on his water. I was like,
Oh, yeah, I
uh.
noticed
And
I
Webb
did notice
decided to
you.
go dance.
Yeah, I did notice you. I did notice your character a few times. My character was talking. There was another person who I saw at one of our previous meetings. His name is Darkthroat. So
Oh
I
my
hope
god,
I.
yeah, I did end up getting to interact with them a little bit.
Yeah, I was so excited because like I loved the way their character looked during one of our events that I whispered them about it,
Man, yeah.
and
Epic
it's yeah,
Argonian.
right, and I wanted so bad to roleplay with this character because like I wanna know who this person is. I want to know what their character is all
Right?
about. But unfortunately, I can't do that.
Stocky.
So I know. So last night when I saw him at the event, I was like, I'm taking full advantage of this, and I'm gonna go roleplay with this person right now. And unfortunately, we didn't get to do much because in like 30
God, there's
minutes after.
so much going on there too.
Oh God, yeah. And again,
I
30. Go ahead.
I was just my attention deficit was kicking. Always at a certain point, it seems like I have to scroll back up and then like back down and like try to catch up,
Yeah.
especially when there's that much going on. But I still love it.
Oh no, I absolutely enjoyed it. It's so when I saw him, I made a beeline to him, and I just I fulfilled my fantasy of role playing with this person a little bit.
Yes.
But then again, like 30 minutes later, we tried to kill each other. So,
Yeah, yeah. You
which
went running off, I guess, to another
yeah,
combat portion somewhere.
I had to go join another one. Unfortunately, I didn't get to sit there and actually fight him or anything like that. That would have been fun. Um,
Yeah,
but
I got to dodge one blow. He tried to just like claw an eye out, basically.
oh no,
So I just barely missed.
I
Practically did
really.
a backflip trying to just avoid it.
Yeah, I really wish we did have like a day of peace between like for one of these things where we actually like sit down and role play with the other characters without without each other trying to murder the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it. Like I was dancing with Mateus and or Matthias and some other folks from the other guilds, and I was like, yeah, this is nice. I don't really feel like conversating, so I started emoting, moving a little more freely and dancing to the music, etc. And then shit hit the fan, and it was just like, oh, what? Stained glass windows getting blown out and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, things escalated really quick,
Oh
and
yes.
and then once the fight started, I noticed someone who had been dancing. Uh, he was Electra, the
Mm-hmm.
small. I was like, "Oh, you're a pretty good dancer. Shame's gonna have to come to blows." And so that was just like, even though I didn't really talk to much of anyone, there was still something to go there as the
Yeah.
structure of this never-ending story went on.
Mm-hmm. Have you I don't want to say adjusted, but have you s- I guess adjusted is the right word here. Have you been able to adjust better after role playing with groups so much, or is it still like really really awkward for you sometimes?
Um, I guess sometimes it still feels like my social anxiety will kick in, but it has absolutely gotten easier over time. And I figured, well, no, I didn't figure, I knew it would. And to be fair, I also started taking anti-anxiety medication again.
Did you?
And yeah, the program I'm in isn't really like all that grand, but they can help you get your hands on some basic stuff. Like it's actually an over-the-counter thing, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it helps. It helps
Mm-hmm.
so I like that, and I think it really helps me a lot, especially in the beginning. when I was really starting to to discover my character's self. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I started to understand him better and how he uh, finds his place in the conclave. I had to
Mm-hmm.
give it a lot of thought because I didn't really, like I said, I just never really knew what I was getting myself into. I just thought, well, this would be fun, and if nothing else, like I can watch other people having fun doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And watching has been really helpful. The first time I went to a cross faction event, um, I was lucky enough that I got to sit out on the sidelines and just and watch everyone else do their thing, and I was just really kind of enraptured by it. Just like, look at them go! Like this is cool. This is original. This is like I just discovered like the biggest expansion pack in the game, and it's just an absolute game changer.
Oh, it is. Once you can start finally, like once you realize you can start providing an actual story for these characters, as opposed to doing like the main story quest, and you get to experience this with other players. It's so nice because it's such a weird hobby, right? Like you're getting online with an avatar and you're role playing that avatar, who is basically a shell of yourself, and you're doing this with other people, and
Right.
it boggles my mind that people, not that people like to do this. I love to do this, so I'll never be confused about that. But it's so crazy to think like there are literally millions of people like you and I who love to do this same thing. And it's nice to be a part of a community that all you want to do is just share a story and role play. That's it.
It's I am just so glad that I have this interest and that I share this common interest with, and that I found other people to engage with through this practice of role playing. It's it's just an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, it has been. Um, so I was gonna we talked about this a little bit. Would you mind singing a song?
Yeah, I would really. I think I'd like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's
Whenever.
okay. I thought about it, and it was a pretty easy decision to make. When you asked me when you had said like, "Oh, we got to get you to sing on the show," I was like, "Mm,
Mm-hmm.
okay." But yeah, about a month ago, you know, a little longer than that ago, there's a song that came on the radio, and I hadn't heard it before. I think it had really just come out, and the lyrics kind of hit me pretty hard. The bass line is really funky, and it was just so positive, and it became kind of like my driving anthem as I, swallowed my nervousness and was just like, dude, fuck it, just go and have fun. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, uh, okay, sure, I'll just sing it then.
Yeah, go right ahead,
But,
man. Whenever you're ready.
okay, I'm gonna start with the bass line,
Mm-hmm.
to try to get the background noise here. Okay, um, one sec, drink some water. Yes, here's most of Next to Normal by Lucius. A boom bop, a boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, boom bop, a boom bop, boom bop, boom bop. I lost some friends along the way, laughing at the wrong time, saying things too straight. I don't want to die, just trying to be myself. When everyone's the same, it's time to separate yourself. I thought that I was off, I was just mistaken. Turns out I wasn't crazy at all. I just had some walls up that needed breaking. Ooh. When I'm close to you, I'm next to normal. I feel immortal. I'm high without the paranoia. Ooh. When I'm close to you, I'm next to normal. I feel immortal. I'm high without the paranoia. Ha, 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 ha. ha, 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 ha. I'm so sick and tired of words I lost. All of this translation, I was overcompensating. I should have known that they weren't in for the hang. I guess they couldn't picture how I don't fit in the frame. I thought that I was off, I was just mistaken. Turns out I wasn't crazy at all. I just had some walls up that needed breaking. I think I know who I'm gonna call. Ooh, when I'm close to you, I'm next to normal. I feel immortal. I'm high without the paranoia. Ooh, when I'm close to you, I'm next to normal. I feel immortal. I'm high without the paranoia. There you go.
That was great, dude. You are such an inspiration. Matt, it is such a
Thank
pleasure to
you.
know you, man.
Aw. Likewise,
Dude,
Dustin.
I appreciate that, man. God, that was so nice. Thank you so much. I
It's
really
my pleasure.
and man, hats off to you, man. Like I understand that it's scary to perform in front of people, and I get it, but man, you're doing it. You're doing it. You're getting out there, and dude, you're killing it.
Thank you so flippin' much. It has music has brought me so much joy and comfort in my life, and so it makes me really happy when I find the courage to share that with people, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
me the happiest when it makes others happy.
Okay,
I
that's
feel
good.
so selfish making other people happy.
No,
I
don't be.
No, there's
It's
been a lot of times over the last month when I've just felt so profoundly selfish. Um,
mm-hmm.
just making friends and just trying to come out of my shell, so to speak.
Well, we've been recording for an hour, and that's normally how long I get people to sit down and record with me.
Yeah.
Is
Well, I
there
was having so much fun. I could do this all day,
I will
but I know
definitely have you.
responsibilities.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't have too much time to record. But uh, is if there is something you would like to add on to the end of this, I'd be more than happy to hear it out.
Anything to add on? Um,
hmm
hmm.
Just about you, role playing in general. Anything that you would like to say to the people out there?
I would say to stoke that fire within, you know?
hmm
Don't let it go out. And, look for inspiration in other people.
Oh yes, God,
And
and you are just such an inspiration. I'm being serious. You are so
aw,
legitimately cool, Matt. I'm not even joking.
thank you.
I'm
I'm
I'm not I'm not
beat
saying it
red
because you.
here.
Oh, that's
You've been
great.
inspiring the hell out of me too, okay?
Oh,
Like
oh man.
legitimately. I really, really don't think that I would have gotten even a fraction as involved in the conclave, if not for your influence. So I mean
Oh,
that. So thank you because it's been friggin' glorious. Okay, I'm
it
loving
has
it.
been. It has been. I'm so glad to meet you. I'm so glad to know you, and I can't wait for us to have more experiences together.
Same.